evening, everyone. Welcome to Living Arts. This is Jackie Suarez, your host. I'm so glad that you're tuning in. What you just heard was Way Funky. We have another fabulous jazz musician that's going to be joining us. His name is Doug Smith. He's a Peekskill native, and he is a pianist as well as a trombonist. Doug, welcome to the show.
Jackie.
How are you?
Thank you for having me.
No, it's been my pleasure to have you here. I've been wanting to have you, I guess, since the show began. I've seen you play many times in local restaurants, and I'm glad that we have this chance to sit down and chat. So we're going to begin by going back through your history and figuring out like exactly how you started in music.
Oh, Jesus, how I started.
You started in the Peekskill school system.
No, actually, I'm from Mount Vernon.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in foster care. Every foster home I was in had a piano. Everything from the big monster down in Mama Graham's basement
Okay.
to the one in the living room at Mrs. Fogg's and the one in the living room at Mrs. Washington. That there was always a piano. I remember my sister Larice was studying piano and she struggled. It seemed to me she struggled. And when she finished, I would go over and bing, bing, bing. Bing, 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 bing. And he said, how'd you do that? Well, I heard it.
Okay.
So right away I realized that the ear was working for me big time. And then I got interested in the trumpet for just a short while, second grade. And for some reason I couldn't figure out that when you dropped the trumpet and it bent up, it didn't quite sound the same. So my trumpet career was very short. And I studied the harmonica with Mr. Michael Chimes from the original Harmonic Cats.
Okay.
He's from Mount Vernon. And then, by that time, I was moving this way toward Peekskill. And in sixth grade, Mr. Thomas Redioff came to me and said, would you like to play the trombone? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I don't know how to. He said, well, he gave me a mouthpiece. He said, buzz your lips in this. And I knew how to do that from the trumpet. He says, don't worry about it. Next year, you'll be playing trombone. Seventh grade, from Hill Junior High School, trombone lessons started. In the meantime, the piano was always there. I was just kind of pecking. I could always figure out a tune, you know. And then my brother Gene started playing guitar. I think I maybe was 11 to 12. And I'm watching him and he was complaining about his fingertips hurting and pressing on the strings. I'm like, what can possibly be so hard about this? So I picked it up and I looked at the chord diagram. Oh yeah, it does not feel all that good, but I can do this. Playing. Oh yeah, I can really do this. I started playing guitar. Now the trombone and the piano and the guitar are all happening. But by the time I got to maybe ninth grade, bands, garage bands. These kids say they don't know what garage bands are. We know about garage bands.
Okay.
And we started doing a little band. We had a band that got together every weekend. We had a wire that ran from the kitchen out to the garage, and if we got too loud, Mom would simply unplug the wire, and that meant, okay guys, tone it down. But we all stayed together as musicians up to this day. Oh, my cousin Charlie passed away early this year. But Ray Blue, Leroy Hankins, I can name Larry Cherry, so many guys that we all grew up with in music, still to this day.
Okay.
Then after I got out of the service, which was a short stay, came back to the band in the garage, and we started working again, and next thing you know, we're doing gigs. And then I kind of like fell in love. I wanted to be married, have family and stuff. So I met my wife, and we decided this is what we're gonna do. And music was there, but not in the foreground anymore.
Okay.
And after a while, it started creeping back up to the foreground. I worked at Indian Point. I've been there for 38 years. That was the priority, make the money.
Okay.
And then,
that's a good priority.
Yeah, no. And then the music, I'm playing for the churches now. I remember as a small, 11, 12 years old even, my mom would say, if you can go downstairs and play everything that was played in the service, then you can come up here. No. I was trying to back out of it, and I could not get out of it to save my life. And I hated those hymns and songs that the old timers sang. But today, I play for the Park Street African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church as the organist for 11 years, and I love those songs. And I love the response I get from the
audience.
From the congregation, absolutely. It's precious to me. And back in the day, swing was their thing.
Okay.
And it became my thing. I mean, the jazz scene was about swinging it, man. So I got a lot of that through the church. And then always in the books, always studying, always looking for new ways to play chords. My cousin Charlie and I spent hours. He would show me a chord, and I said, yo, play this on top of it. What do you call that? It's called stacking. Don't worry about it. Just stacking and play it. Oh, man, we had such great times learning new stuff. And always in the books. Last 3 years.
Now, what instrument did your cousin Charlie play?
Charlie played guitar.
Oh, okay.
And great bass, too. Great bass. Well, I mean, they're similar. The first 4 strings on the guitar are absolutely the same thing as on the bass. So he was a great bass player also. Most of the work.
What was the name of the band?
The name of when we were in school, Larry Church came up with the system, the Society of Young Students for the Entertainment of the Masses.
Oh, okay. I thought the system was the name itself, but it actually was.
I'm like, hey, come on, man. And then at one point we were called Energy.
Okay.
And it's just, and then I got married, so whatever they call themselves after that, I really had nothing to do with. But they, we continue to be in touch with music forever. And in the area, Division Street Grill, the Bean Runner, there was a place down in Verplank, it was a Buchanan for a short while, called the Funky Bean.
Okay.
That a friend of mine, Chris, oh my God, Chris, I can't think of his last name. Anyway, he had that open mic going. I went down there and helped him out with that for a while. Great thing. And that led to Jeff Baden's place called JK's.
Okay, I remember that place. It's now a different type of restaurant.
Yes,
I think it's called Le Gerardo.
Hispanic, yeah.
Right.
So my friend Marlene said, Dougie, there's a new place open up. You got to go up there and check it out. So I go up and I check it out. And I was like, wow, I like to play up in here,
Yeah.
So we actually ended up getting up, and we did a long run up in there. Nice.
So you were playing at JK's for quite a while.
Yeah. Actually, we did a live record. I should have brought something. We did a live recording there. I got a friend of mine to come in with his rig, and I told the guys in the band, pay no attention to the microphones. Just do the gig, and we had a fabulous time.
You had a ball.
Absolute.
Now, during our intro, we played Way Funky. I believe it's called Deed I Do. Now, you wrote and composed that music, correct?
Way Funky, absolutely. Deed I Do is a standard jazz tune. The first time I heard that song sung, I heard it sung by Ray Charles.
Okay.
And totally,
Blew you away?
That's my song. I'll be singing that for the rest of my life, so I love it. Way Funky, I have a small project studio at home, and I just sat there one day, multi-tracking, just coming up with ideas and locking them in, and there it was.
Okay.
There it was.
Now, you mentioned swing. Now, the relationship between swing and regular jazz, what is the difference, or how could you explain that to our audience?
Swing was the big band sound in the late 30s and 40s, the Benny Goodmans, the Glenn Millers, all those. Those were the guys that sort of initiated the swing thing. Straight ahead jazz, a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
I've never been fascinated with, look how many notes I can play in 2 bars. I've been more fascinated with, look how I can make you feel with 5 notes.
Gotcha.
In 1 bar. That's pretty much where I'm coming from. Razzle dazzle, that's never been my thing. It's when I play for the church, I'm not looking to see the whole place up and jumping, even though it's a joy to see. My joy is for that one soul that came in with the head down and sat in the back. By the end of the service, to be sitting up tall and even clapping their hands.
You uplifted their soul, basically.
And when you're playing and performing, to hear somebody, yell out, "Yeah, man, play it, baby." I remember my friend Norm at work, who introduced me to a lot of great swing music. His favorite line was, there was a guy back in the day, like in the 30s and 40s, the band was getting it on, and he screamed out, "Play it till 1951." And that line just stayed with me. I want to say it, today, but I'm kind
Well,
of.
what year was it?
It was like in the 30s and 40s, so
okay.
so 1951 hadn't gotten here yet. But I could say,
okay.
I could say, play it till 2094.
I gotcha.
But certainly, to hear that kind of thing come, and I certainly, whenever I go out and listen, I always try to encourage the people that are playing, hooting and hollering and stomping, whatever. The kids love it. They really appreciate. I have just recently started piano lessons. I have a set of twins, 5 years old, and I have an 8-year-old, their older sister.
Okay.
And they are precious. When they get it, it just becomes like, see, and I always challenge them. The book I'm teaching them is very basic, and it's not about doing it with both hands yet. It's one or the other.
Okay, I've always wondered how you do that, because I wanted to take piano lessons, and at this point in the game, I know that it's a little too late. I'm a little long in the tooth for some piano lessons.
Not. It's about sitting down and doing it.
Exactly, so to find the time. So I wanted you to be my instructor. Could I book some time with you?
Absolutely.
Okay, now you mentioned that you're currently studying with, let me see if I can pronounce this correctly, Hiroshi Yamazaki. Okay, now is he a classically trained pianist?
Absolutely. He's been playing since he was 8 years old. I believe he grew up in Japan and then discovered jazz while he was in college.
Okay.
And then came to New York to pursue his jazz career. And he's a much sought after sideman. Great teacher. He works at the Conservatory of Music in White Plains.
Okay, I was going to mention that you've actually had recitals there.
Yes.
And now, is he strictly teaching there, or he's having, when you asked him to have a lesson with him, or you wanted to be his student, how did you go about doing that?
That's too funny. I was invited to a spring party. A friend of mine, I painted his house for him, and he says, listen, we're going to do a little housewarming thing.
Okay.
And I'm coming across the lawn, and I hear this piano. I was like, oh, Lord, I'm in love. Stand up. You can hear the stand-up bass just plunking, having a great time. I walk in, and there's Hiroshi and Brian Berg playing bass. And I grab a chair, and I pull up right next to him. And he's like, what the hell? Kept playing, did his whole set. And when he finished, I said, do you do private studies? He said, yes, I do. I said, I'm going to play for you. I don't want you to think I'm jiving. I sat down, I played, and I sang, and he was thrilled. Very good music. The following Saturday, we started working together. That was 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. Terrific. So he's a bass player, basically.
No, he's a piano player.
He's a piano player, but also plays that. Okay, because I actually have seen him with, is it Glenda Davis?
Glenda Davenport.
Glenda Davenport. Yes. Wonderful vocalist.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so
from there, it's just been one thing after the other. He got me. I did 3 jazz piano recitals. Well, what they did was a recital for his students, because I'm a jazz person. That's what I did. He had one little girl. She was maybe 3 or 4 years old.
Okay, so he's got students from all ages.
Oh yes, with a little gown on, and she did her little 6 notes, and then got up and bent down to bow so far I thought her little nose was gonna touch the ground. And her sister ran up and gave her a rose.
Very nice.
And I know in my heart that one day someone will be giving her a bouquet.
Okay, she's talented.
She's going to be good. It's a wonderful thing.
Terrific. Now, who would you say are some of your influences in music?
Jesus. If I went way back, it would definitely be Ray Charles.
That's funny you should say that, because I've thought that when you're performing and you're singing, that something about his style that you,
Ray Charles.
you play a nice homage to him.
Nat King Cole. Oh. Goodness. Coming up closer, George Benson, Diana Krall.
Diana Krall?
Lou Rawls. Diana Krall did a tribute to Nat King Cole. She played at the Paramount Theater, but I was working. I didn't know who she was.
Okay.
I didn't pay attention to it. My friend made a tape of that gig, and he says, oh my God, you got to hear her.
Have you heard about Fats Waller?
Fats Waller.
Is that one of the people that you've listened to?
Oscar Peterson.
Oscar Peterson. I've actually not heard about that. Actually, I only heard about Diana Krall when she got together with the lead singer from Led Zeppelin, Roger Plant. Now, I'm thinking Roger Plant, but I'm thinking somehow I got the name wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm accurate about that.
Yeah, she's
done they did a collaboration, and that was my introduction to her music, because I'd not heard anything from her.
Phenomenal. Ileana Elias, great keyboard, Brazilian. Oh my goodness.
Really?
Bossa all the way. Good players, good players. Chick Corea, Stanley Clark. When we were in the 70s, they were doing the whole crossover thing. Guys were coming out of jazz and bringing in the rock and the funk and then combining it. They were the pioneers. Herbie Hancock,
Okay.
Freddie Hubbard. I mean, I've listened to a lot of music.
So let me ask you this: who are you listening to now, or who would you say is someone that's hot or up and coming in the scene?
Hot and up and coming in the scene.
Besides yourself, that is.
Hot and up and coming. I can't say that I am. I spend so much time studying that I don't do as much listening as I probably should.
Okay.
And I could probably name a few people. I can't pull them off right now.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, like, how do you break up your day? I know you have a full-time job. You're
Yes,
working at
oh,
Indian Point,
yep.
and you're saying you've been there for upwards of 38 years.
Absolutely.
So you're doing the Indian Point thing. You come home, and I know you spend a lot of time in the studio. So
Yeah.
is that studio in your home?
It's in my basement. My basement is my studio. I have projects I work on for other people. I have a friend of mine. I call him my producer. He lives in Florida. I've done several commercials for him. I've done different projects with him. As a matter of fact, he was the one that got me computerized.
Okay.
He heard me play at a gig, and my cousin Charlie came and said, Dougie, this guy wants you to teach him how to play the piano. I said, oh, man. There was a jazz club in town called One Station Plaza. I ran that as the president 7 years, doing the open mic and different things. So he came over one night. I had just bought a little 4-track. I really didn't understand the whole recording process, but I was puddling around with it. And I had this nice groove. And in the door walks this little guy, nice little guy, Jewish guy. He says, who's that? I said, that's me. He says,
Well, while you're speaking about grooving, we'd like to have you perform. I know that you mentioned you're working on a little piece called "Come Dance with Me." We'd love to hear that.
yes.
So you're going to have the pleasure of listening to Mr. Doug Smith on the keyboard. He's playing "Come Dance with Me" and another tune from some of his compositions.
No, actually, the second tune is from a friend of mine recommended. It's called "The Quiet Place."
Fantastic.
And you'll hear it. You'll know what it's about as soon as you hear it. Let me just try to get over here.
Well, I
without
hope
killing myself.
so. Now, I've had the pleasure of listening to Doug many times. There's something very melodic and very soulful about his music, and it struck me the first time that I saw him perform that he's not only a talented pianist, but he's a fantastic vocalist as well.
Great.
He's going to be performing "Come Dance with Me" and another jazz standard, and I believe what we're doing now, he's also going to be performing at, what is the name?
The name of the place is Something Else Jazz Club.
Something Else Jazz, and I believe, was it a take on Miles Davis?
It was originally called Miles's Place,
Okay.
and they changed the name to Something Else Jazz. Something
Else.
without the G. Something Else.
I gotcha.
Jazz Club.
A little swing and a little hip.
Yeah. So here we are.
And besides that, the Westchester Conservatory he's going to be having another recital there as well.
Yes.
And you can reach our friend here at brotherdoug@aol.com to hear about, brotherdoug@optonline.net.
Yeah.
You gotta forgive me.
That's a.
And without further ado, we have Mr. Doug Smith.
I have to touch my keyboard first. Hey there, cute, put on your dancing boots. Come dance with me. Come dance with me. What an evening for some terpsichore. Pretty face, I know a swinging place. Come dance with me. Romance with me across the crowded floor. And while the music swings, what sexy things I'll be saying. For what is dance but making love, set to music swaying. When the band begins to leave the stand, folks start to roam. As we waltz home, cheek to cheek we'll be. Come on, come on, come on, come on and dance with me. And as the music sways, with sexy things I'll be saying. For what is dance but making love set to music swaying. When the band begins to leave the stand and folks start to roam. As we waltz home, cheek to cheek we'll be. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on and dance with me.
All right, so then you're going to go into another tune you said was an old jazz standard.
No, that was the jazz standard.
Oh,
This
okay.
piece, my aunt and uncle both passed within weeks of each other
Okay.
a couple years ago. And I shared it with a friend I met online through the Jazz Network. She's from Germany. And she said, Doug, I know you're hurting, but look up the song, A Quiet Place, and you'll be okay. And I went and listened to it, and oh my God, it's just a beautiful piece. So that's great. There is a quiet place far from this rapid pace where God can heal my troubled mind. Sheltered by tree and flower, therein my quiet hour with Him. My fears are left behind. Whether a garden small or on a mountain tall, with Him new courage there I find. Then from this quiet place I can return and face a new day with love for all mankind.
Awesome. Totally awesome. Now, Jackie's taking care of you, right? She's bringing the best music to you on our program. Doug, that was absolutely fabulous. Why don't you come over here and join us?
Thank you.
And give us some information about how we're going to, reach you. Besides the Brother Doug at optonline.net, there was also a number where an audience, someone in the audience might be able to contact Doug for potential performances or find out what's going on with him musically.
Well, actually, I have two emails. Brother Doug at optonline.net.
Okay.
Then I have a Gmail account.
Okay.
They're both linked together. It's adsmith1951.
He's slippery.
adsmith1951 at gmail.com. My studio number is 914-788-1166. And you know what? I'll give you my cell phone too, 914-804-3552. And please, you call, just leave a message and I'll get back to you. That's my answer all the time. Leave a message, I promise I'll get back to you. Hard to say when I'll be playing back at the Division Street Grill. Arnie is sort of fitting me into his schedule, and I'm the guy that he calls,
Oh, don't say that. You are his
I am.
ace coon boom. He knows
Yes.
that when you come in, you're going to pack the house
Yeah.
and everyone's going to love you.
He'll send me an email tonight. Oh, well, what time is it? 7? Oh, okay, 5:30. Duh. And we laugh, and I show up because I love to play. I love to play.
Yeah, and they have a wonderful piano there.
Oh my goodness. Made by John Ford of Ford Piano, Peekskill, New York. So I have to
Funny you should mention him because I spoke to him recently.
throw him a little boost there. I
Yeah,
love
Tom
that piano.
Ford
Beautiful.
piano.
Yeah. The room is beautiful. The food is good, and the people are wonderful. The older people certainly appreciate a lot of what I do,
Okay.
but most important is times when little ones come in and they're just so mesmerized. When one of them comes up and drops $1 or a quarter or whatever into the tip jar and just looks at me with that little gleam in their eye, job done.
So do you prefer to work with younger children or do you take older students
No,
as
it
well?
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Right now, I'm sort of starting out on the piano lesson route. I have these 3 students. They're precious, early beginners, and it's great because it keeps me sharp.
Okay.
Like I said, I challenge them. What I'm teaching them is right now is one hand and the other, but my challenge is something like, do you? Oh, never mind. What? Oh, no, that's okay. It's okay. With the hand on the hip, 5 years old. Brother Doug, what? Well, I just want, can you do that with both hands? Or you never saw so much chewing and nodding, but they get it.
Yeah.
And they give me the look like, well.
Do you find that it's easier to teach someone that's younger because they're not, they have like no preconceptions of how to play the piano, or they're just more receptive, or it's...
Here's what happened to me. My music teacher, Mario Taka from high school, I went to him one day after I had graduated.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you because we're running out of time.
Oh, we're running out of time. So anyway.
I want to thank you so much for coming.
That's
Your performance was so inspired. I absolutely
My
loved it.
My pleasure.
You're going to see me down in something
Jazz Club.
Something Jazz Club.
Something Jazz Club in Manhattan.
Absolutely.
I think it's around the 50s somewhere. I have to go online and get my
All right.
directions.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can contact me at livingarts.westchester@gmail.com. I want to hear from you, see who's listening. As usual, it's been a pleasure, and we hope to see you again next week. Peace. You're fabulous, man.
Worked out for you?
Yeah, it did. You're the awesome person. That performance, I love that song that you just played.
Oh my God.